My beautifully twisted monsters of rock bottom. You thought nobody saw it, didn't you? That silent switch in your head, that second your soul said, "Fuck this. I'm not crawling anymore." They didn't hear the click, but I did. I heard it like a gun cocking in a church, loud, unforgivable, permanent. See, they all remember the noise you made after, but I remember the silence right before you snapped, that moment. When you didn't beg, didn't cry, didn't post a motivational quote. You just moved, dead fucking serious. And that was it. That's when the rules you'd been choking on for years became your damn fuel. They called you too much, too loud, too sensitive, too intense, too broken, too fucked up, too not one of us. And guess what? They were right. You were too much. For their weak little sandbox, you weren't meant to fit in. You were built to break the box, melt it down, and turn it into a throne lined with every no they ever threw at your chest. That shit you did, that wasn't a move. That was a declaration of psychological war. That was the exact moment you stopped asking for permission and started charging interest. No cape, no applause, no sponsored deals. Just pain, rage, focus, and a terrifying level of self-awareness. Because here's the truth they'll never say out loud. Overlords are born in fire, not followers. Nobody chooses the king in the dark. The one with cracked knuckles, broken rules, and blood in their smile. You earned it, not with a handshake. With a hand grenade made from every time you were underestimated, mocked, gaslit, ghosted, betrayed, fired, played, or walked over like you were some disposable glitch in the system. But you weren't a glitch. You were the virus. You saw how fake it all was, didn't you? The be nice masks, the stay humble propaganda, the play it safe graveyard dressed up as a cubicle. Nah, you stopped hoping for change. You became the threat that forces it. You used the shame they tried to bury you in as ammo. Every scar on your name, a stripe of rank, every heartbreak, a new lockpick in your hand, every time they ghosted you. You rewired your soul to run off of ghost mode energy. No need for clout, no craving for applause. And they still don't get it. They're still out there, trying to decode your silence, still throwing side eyes at your glow up like, wait, who the fuck does this dude think he is? Let me answer for you. You're the one who outlived the crash. You're the one who stopped bleeding and started building. You're the one who weaponized rock bottom like it was a fucking dojo. You're the one who walked out the fire with a goddamn grin and a spine made of spite. Because when you're done begging for entry, when you're done playing by unwritten rules, when you're done shrinking your rage to keep the peace, you become ungovernable. You become the motherfucker in charge. Not because you want control, because you earned clarity, and clarity is more dangerous than any weapon on Earth. You finally saw what they really meant when they said, stay in your lane. They meant, stay beneath me. But guess what? You built your own highway. One lined with every too late, every not good enough, every you're crazy, every damn lie that tried to chain you to a boring little fate. And now, you walk through rooms with that look, that calm, kill-you-slow confidence. Because you don't need to bark. You already bit the system and made it taste like karma. They feel it, even if they pretend they don't. That vibe you carry, that's not ego. That's revenge in a three-piece suit. That's healing that never asked for permission. That's the aftershock of someone who made it out of hell without letting it ruin their smile. You're not an underdog anymore. You're the Efkin architect of your own empire. The kind that doesn't get featured in magazines, but haunts boardrooms, back channels, and bastards who thought they buried you. Because when you flipped that switch, it wasn't just a comeback. It was a hostile takeover, and anyone too blind to see it will feel it in silence. You started moving different, didn't announce it, didn't tweet it, no public statement, just disappeared from the places that drained you and reappeared somewhere dangerous, in full control, not loud, just undeniable. And that shift, that quiet fuck you evolution, it's what shook people the most. Because you didn't post about cutting people off. You just did it. Cold, clean, surgical. They kept asking where you went. But truth is, you rose so far above the noise, they couldn't reach your altitude without oxygen masks and a therapist. You weren't running, you were rebuilding with receipts. You didn't lose yourself. You upgraded the parts of you that kept getting betrayed. You stopped being soft in rooms full of blades. You stopped being loyal to patterns that only drained your spark. And when you did that one bold thing, that unhinged, unfiltered, no going back thing, that was the kill switch for the old version of you. The one they manipulated, the one they guilt-tripped, the one they only texted when they needed something. That version, you buried it in a place no GPS could find, because pain doesn't just change people, it exposes them. And that includes you. You learned who you were without the mask, without the filter, without the performance. And what was underneath? Something primal, something precise, something they should have never underestimated. You used to crave understanding, used to crave validation, used to shrink when people misunderstood your silence, used to over-explain your kindness. Not anymore. Now you walk with that real, don't get it twisted energy. The type that makes passive-aggressive people stutter. The type that triggers cowards who used to puppet string your self-worth. The type that turns fake love into awkward silence. Because your aura, it's not cute anymore. It's commanding. People used to look at you and think, easy target. Now they look again, and all they see is a calm storm dressed in human skin. You ain't threatening, you're unreadable. And unreadable is terrifying to people who relied on reading you like an open book they could bend at will. That's what that moment did. That thing you did that flipped everything. It rewired you. No more people-pleasing. No more second chances. No more sticking around just to prove you're not the bad guy. You're not the villain. You're the consequence. You no longer argue with small minds. You don't step down to explain your glow to folks still allergic to growth. You just move. Strategically, silently, with eyes like crosshairs and a soul that's tasted too much betrayal to ever blink again. And the world, it feels it. Every room you enter, the air shifts, because energy doesn't lie, and yours walks in first. You don't even need to talk heavy. Your vibe talks shit for you. Without a word, you're not chasing clout. You're collecting moments of power. You're doing things that can't be screenshotted. You're burning your past like gasoline and turning it into raw momentum. You're done overthinking. Done asking for green lights from people living in red flags. Done trying to be enough for people who wouldn't know real if it punched them in the throat. You're not healed, you're sharp. And sharp cuts, cleaner than healed ever will. You're not positive vibes only. You're don't try me on a Tuesday afternoon when I'm sipping coffee and plotting the unthinkable energy. They thought they left you behind. But you were never behind. You were just out of sight, building an empire with your bare fucking hands while they scrolled fake lives on glass screens. You don't need them to believe in you. You just need them to keep watching. While everything they said you couldn't be becomes your minimum baseline, you started showing up different. Not dressed in designer, but in clarity, in distance, in I peep everything and respond to nothing kind of presence. You became allergic to circles that clap for you in public but scheme in whispers. You saw through the ones who only check on you to check if you're still beneath them. You caught the patterns, tracked the cycles, and snapped out of that delusional loyalty trance like a glitch in the simulation. No more sitting at tables where you gotta shrink just to fit in. You'd rather eat alone in peace than choke on fake love in a crowd. Because the truth, you didn't get harder. You just stopped bleeding for people who kept handing you knives with hugs attached. You got quiet, not weak, not scared, not lost, dangerously quiet. The kind of quiet that makes noise without saying a damn word. The kind that makes people feel guilty in your presence, not because you've changed, but because they know you finally saw them raw and unfiltered. You see everything now, the tactics, the gaslight loops, the guilt-wrapped chains. And you don't even flinch. You just withdraw like a loaded weapon back into its holster. They can't reach you, not because you're hiding, but because you finally realized your energy is a fucking currency. And not everyone deserves to be rich off your presence. The ones who used to drain you, you left them right where they exposed themselves, not out of revenge, out of survival. Because you saw what happens when you keep giving CPR to dead connections. You saw what it costs to keep dancing for people who only cheer when you're struggling. And you chose violence, the quiet kind. The kind that builds, levels up, and leaves a trail of echoes behind. You used to flinch at being misunderstood. Now you let people misread you on purpose. Let them craft their little narratives. Let them speak your name in rooms you'll never step foot in. Because while they're busy building stories, you're busy building empires. They thought you were done, but they didn't realize you weren't spiraling. You were shedding layers of self-doubt, layers of guilt, layers of please like me, layers of maybe I'm too much. Nah, you're exactly enough to make cowards feel exposed. You became surgical with your time, militant with your peace, brutal with your standards. Because anything less than alignment is a fucking liability. You're not looking for loyalty anymore. You're looking for self-awareness, accountability, consistency without performance. And if someone can't match that, you let the door swing shut without a word. You learned to love without losing yourself, to give without bleeding dry, to show up without shape-shifting for approval. You don't chase, you observe. You don't beg, you decide. You don't threaten, you vanish. And that shit you did, that one moment, that wasn't rebellion. That was liberation with no mask on. That was the first taste of a life not lived for validation, but for vengeance through evolution. You walk different now, not because you're better, but because you stopped negotiating with mediocrity. You let pain refine you, not define you. You let isolation sharpen you, not break you. You let rock bottom teach you to build altars with rubble. People feel the shift but can't explain it. You don't glow like you used to. You burn, slow, focused, controlled. The kind of burn that lights up your own path and scorches anyone who tries to dim it. People used to walk over you like concrete, smile in your face, dig into your ribs behind closed doors. You gave them access, chances, excuses. And when it all fell apart, they called you too intense for bleeding out after they stabbed you. But you see it clear now. It wasn't your intensity. It was their inability to sit in the presence of someone who refuses to dilute their fire just to keep the room warm. You were never too much. They were too limited. Couldn't handle you without filters. Couldn't stand your light without squinting. And instead of stepping up, They tried to dim you. Didn't work. Because all that silence you sat in, that wasn't sadness. That was reconstruction. You were rewiring every piece of yourself that got exploited by comfort zones and conditional love. They don't recognize you anymore, and that's the point. You dropped the version of yourself that made it easy for people to misunderstand you and still stick around. You dropped the version that begged for closure from people who benefited from your confusion. You dropped the version that couldn't sleep unless everyone else was okay, even when you were mentally on life support. That shit you did, that moment you chose yourself without asking, without flinching, without warning anyone. That was a psychic fucking rebellion, and that's when it happened. When you shifted from underdog to overlord without lifting a finger. Because power doesn't need noise, it just is. You got strategic, not fake, just private, not shady, just done explaining. You stopped arguing in circles with people committed to misunderstanding you. You stopped investing in rooms where you had to prove your worth like it was up for negotiation. You stopped being available for every crisis that didn't have your name on it. They called it selfish. They called it cold. But deep down, they felt what it really was. A boundary dressed in silence. And ever since that pivot, people treat you different. Not because they respect you more, but because they know you'll walk without warning. No text, no speech, no public meltdown. Just gone. Like a ghost with unfinished business and nothing left to prove. That energy? It's divine. It's dangerous. It's what happens when the soul stops settling. You stopped chasing closure from people who fold when things get real. You stopped accepting apologies soaked in manipulation. You stopped making yourself smaller to fit into spaces built for cowards with charm. You're the type that triggers people just by breathing with purpose. You don't even need to respond. Your presence reminds them of everything they faked healing from. And that's the thing. You didn't heal to be palatable. You didn't evolve to be liked. You didn't sharpen your spirit just to be tolerated. You got up from every betrayal with a new blueprint. Started moving like someone who saw through the whole matrix and came back grinning. Not bitter, just selective. Not heartless, just exhausted from wasting love on the undeserving. That's the new law. Energy first. Everything else gets screened. You don't force connections anymore. You observe patterns. You don't argue character. You clock inconsistencies. You don't explain your vibe. You protect it like a guarded vault. You're not unpredictable. You're unreachable by the unworthy. And the world's starting to notice that you ain't playing the same game anymore. Because once you tasted life with your foot off the brake, you stopped apologizing for the speed. You became unpredictable to people who only knew the version of you that tolerated chaos with a smile. The one who kept giving rope to people who'd already shown they were gonna hang you with it. You used to second guess everything. What you said, how you said it, whether you came off too strong, too cold, too intense, too real. But once you stopped watering yourself down to keep the peace, you became the problem they couldn't control anymore. You started treating your peace like a password. Only the aligned get access. Only the consistent get callbacks. Only the real get a seat. And even then, they better come correct. You weren't healing to go back to normal. You were recalibrating for a whole new frequency. Because what they called too sensitive was actually just super tuned in to bullshit. What they called cold was you finally understanding that not every room deserves your warmth. You used to play nice in places that disrespected you in code. You used to accept almost as love. Used to bend until your spine screamed for backup, just to be enough for people who were never ready for someone like you. And then it clicked. You saw that every time you betrayed yourself to keep someone else comfortable. You paid the price in silence, in stress, in burnout, in pretending you were okay just so nobody else felt bad. Fuck that. You stopped sugarcoating your standards, stopped apologizing for needing more than the bare minimum wrapped in trauma bonding. You stopped trying to be palatable to people addicted to mediocrity. They still don't get it. They think you changed. But nah, you remembered. You remembered what the fuck you bring to the table. What it costs to unlearn the programming that told you to shrink, to settle, to shut up. You remembered what it's like to wake up and not feel like you're surviving someone else's comfort zone. You built yourself from scratch while pretending everything was fine. You showed up on days your soul was heavy as hell. You kept pushing when nobody clapped, when nobody called, when nobody gave a damn. And that one moment, that move you made that cracked the whole simulation, it didn't come from ego. It came from pain, from clarity, from a place so raw, so tired, so fucking done being everyone else's safety net. You decided to be your own damn parachute and jump anyway. That's what they don't understand. This new version of you isn't some aesthetic. It's not a glow-up. It's not stepping into your power. It's war mode with a soft face. It's someone who's seen too much to fake it anymore. It's someone who's been the nice one, the fixer, the silent sufferer, and made it out with boundaries, receipts, and a rebuilt nervous system. They can't guilt you like before. Can't gaslight you with old tactics. Can't bait you with crumbs and call it connection, because you finally sat with yourself long enough to understand that your energy is a fucking luxury item, not a clearance sale. You've outgrown the version of you that used to fear being alone. You prefer it now, because solitude taught you the difference between attention and respect, between validation and value, between I miss you and I see you. You stopped being emotionally available for people who weaponized your empathy, stopped picking up calls from folks who only dial when they're drowning, never when you're bleeding. You stopped explaining your absence to people who never noticed your presence unless you were breaking yourself to keep the vibe light. You're done doing time in other people's chaos. You're done wearing emotional debt like a badge. You're done letting loyalty override your own fucking peace. And every step since that one decision, you became unpredictable to people who only knew the version of you that tolerated chaos with a smile. The one who kept giving rope to people who'd already shown they were gonna hang you with it. You used to second guess everything. What you said, how you said it, whether you came off too strong, too cold, too intense, too real. But once you stopped watering yourself down to keep the peace, you became the problem they couldn't control anymore. You started treating your peace like a password. Only the aligned get access. Only the consistent get callbacks. Only the real get a seat. And even then, they better come correct. You weren't healing to go back to normal. You were recalibrating for a whole new frequency. Because what they called too sensitive was actually just super tuned in to bullshit. What they called cold was you finally understanding that not every room deserves your warmth. You used to play nice in places that disrespected you in code. Used to accept almost as love. Used to bend until your spine screamed for backup, just to be enough for people who were never ready for someone like you. And then it clicked. You saw that every time you betrayed yourself to keep someone else comfortable. You paid the price in silence, in stress, in burnout, in pretending you were okay just so nobody else felt bad. Fuck that. You stopped sugarcoating your standards, stopped apologizing for needing more than the bare minimum wrapped in trauma bonding. You stopped trying to be palatable to people addicted to mediocrity. They still don't get it. They think you changed. But nah, you remembered what the fuck you bring to the table. Hello, freaks, misfits, anomalies. Yeah, you, the one they warned about, the one they can't quite categorize, can't diagnose, can't silence. Welcome back, because whatever you just did, it triggered something. Oh yes, you felt it, didn't you? That split second where the air shifted, that pause in the system, that glitch in the matrix, where the world blinked, and everyone pretended like nothing happened. But something did. You did it. And now, they're scrambling. See, you weren't supposed to make it this far. You weren't supposed to wake up. You weren't supposed to choose rage over routine. But you did. And now, oh, you've become a problem. Not a puzzle to be solved. A problem to be buried. Because what you just did wasn't just loud. It wasn't just raw. It was radioactive. You moved differently. You thought differently. You acted without their permission. And that, my dear chaos bringer, is unforgivable in their perfectly programmed little paradise. The moment you shifted your energy, the moment you said no, the moment you stopped performing normal, boom, like dominoes, one by one, people panicked, systems glitched, eyes turned. You triggered a chain reaction, and now they're trying to contain it, sweep it under the rug, patch the cracks in their narrative. Because here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. One awakened soul is more dangerous than 1,000 obedient ones. One person who refuses to numb out, who refuses to swallow the programming, who refuses to shut the hell up and smile for the cameras. That person becomes the match. And you, sweetheart, you just lit the fuse. They're gaslighting you right now. You know that, right? Telling you nothing happened, that you're overreacting, that you imagined the reaction, because they can't risk the others noticing. They can't risk the crowd realizing. That one person stepping out of line can cause the whole system to stutter. So they spin the narrative. They send the bots. They send the fake friends. The tired voices whispering, calm down. Don't be dramatic. Be humble. Go back to who you were. But who you were is dead. You killed that version. You murdered your former self in cold blood and left the body for the scavengers. And what rose in its place? That's not normal. That's not average. That's not safe. It's something they can't classify. A Frankenstein stitched from pain, purpose, and a refusal to be erased. Let me make this perfectly clear. They're not afraid of what you said. They're not afraid of what you did. They're afraid of what it caused. The whispers, the echoes, the contagion. Because when one person breaks the illusion, others start to question. And then it spreads. One spark becomes 2, then 5, then a blaze, and now the fire is coming for their lies. So yes, they're trying to cover it up. The fake smiles, the silence, the nothing to see here energy. But don't you dare let them gaslight your gut. You were right to do what you did. You were right to disrupt the scene. You were right to burn the rule book. You were right to become unreasonable, because revolutions don't start with logic. They start with people like you, people who are done pretending. And now, oh now, they'll come at you sideways, not with guns, no, with guilt, with doubt, with manipulation dressed as concern, They'll try to muzzle you with morality. Think of the consequences. That's not how we do things. You're scaring people. Good. Let them be scared. Let them feel something for the first time in their numb little lives. You didn't come here to play it safe. You didn't come here to fit in. You came to break whatever cage they locked your ancestors in. You came to become the curse, whispered through bloodlines. And now they're trying to cover it up? They can't. It's too late. The chain reaction has already begun. You are no longer a citizen of the ordinary. You are no longer digestible. You are no longer explainable. You are evidence that the impossible is not only real, it's loud. You are proof that the glitch wasn't just a bug. It was a message, and the message is simple. One spark is enough. So let them run, let them censor, let them gaslight, panic, distort. You keep walking, keep disrupting, keep being uncomfortably real, because every time they try to smother your fire, they only prove one thing, that you're burning exactly where it hurts them most. You see, when you triggered that chain reaction, it wasn't just a moment. It was a ripple through time. The ones who felt it, they're not saying it out loud yet, but they're not sleeping either. Something woke up inside them, a hunch, a pressure, an unnameable discomfort. And that's the thing about chain reactions. They don't need your permission to spread. Now they're pointing fingers behind closed doors, reviewing the footage, scrubbing the records, trying to erase the exact second you shattered the illusion. But they can't, because that moment, it's echoing in people's minds, replaying in their skulls like a corrupted file. And they're trying to play God. Reset the simulation, rewind the moment, patch the update. But no update can uninstall a revolution of thought. And you didn't just rebel, you infected. They can't cover you up because you're not a mistake in the story. You are the author now. You rewrote the rules. You rewrote what's possible. They tried to blacklist you. You became folklore. They tried to exile you. You became a myth. They tried to delete you. And now, your shadow lives in every corner of their system. You are not a glitch. You are the update they feared most. The patch they couldn't predict. The jailbreak in a locked-down universe. Let me tell you something sickly sweet. They're still pretending it didn't happen. Still going through the motions. Smiling, nodding, broadcasting their fake calm. But behind their eyes, there's fear. And behind their fear, there's recognition. They saw it. They know. They know that one person just collapsed a lie they'd been feeding the masses for decades. You didn't break a rule. You exposed that the rules never existed in the first place. And now, the others are watching you. The broken ones. The bruised ones. The ones who swallowed every lie just to survive. They're watching and whispering, if they can do it, maybe I can too. You didn't just cause chaos. You handed out permission slips to the apocalypse. You handed out keys to the locked doors in their minds. And you know what's funny? The very people trying to bury your fire are the same ones desperately hoping no one else sees the glow from the ashes. You don't need to go viral. You don't need applause. You don't need them to validate the quake you just caused. Because revolutions don't need permission slips. They just need someone crazy enough to go first. And you did. So now, when they tell you it didn't matter, laugh. When they tell you to be quiet, roar. When they try to sell you comfort, buy a hammer. Because comfort is a coffin for minds like yours. And you've already died once, haven't you? The old you, the polite you, the obedient you, the explainable you is gone. That version is never coming back. Now there's only this, the version of you that acts like a glitch but thinks like a god. They'll never cover that up. You were never meant to be understood. You were meant to be felt. In silence, in panic, in trembling realization, you are not a moment, you are a reckoning. You still think this was random, accidental? No, no, no. There are no accidents when chaos chooses you. You are placed here, in this exact moment, in this exact mess, surrounded by these exact pretenders. To pull the thread, and pull you did, not gently, not thoughtfully, no. You ripped it, and now the whole tapestry is unraveling in their trembling little hands. You think they're confused? Nah, they knew this day would come. They've been preparing for this moment since the first one of you slipped through the cracks. They have names for you: outlier, disturbance, anomaly, concerning personality type. But they'll never say the real word out loud. Catalyst, that's what you are. Not the explosion, not the fire. You're the spark they couldn't trace, the gesture they never predicted, the act that made the lie collapse under its own weight. And the best part, you did it with no army, no weapons, no permission, just clarity, just nerve. Just one decisive moment where you said, "No more pretending." You exposed something ancient, something they've spent billions of dollars and centuries of culture trying to bury. That every system, every rule, every expectation is a cage made of silence, made of shame, made of just be normal. But you kicked the bars. You asked the question you were never supposed to ask. You stood up when the room demanded you kneel, and you did it knowing full well they were watching. Let me remind you of the truth, because you will need it when the backlash starts frothing. You are not crazy. Crazy is just what they call people who see too much. They'll tell you to calm down, to stop taking it all so seriously, to be realistic, but realism is their word for defeat. You are not defeated. You are dangerous, and they can't handle what's coming next, because what's coming next is more of you. That chain reaction you triggered, it's already metastasized in direct messages, in hushed phone calls, in long stares across silent rooms, in that feeling, that nagging pull in the gut that whispers, something's not right, and someone finally said it. You are the unspoken confirmation of every buried instinct. You are vindication in skin and bone. You are proof that the people who doubted the script were never wrong, just early. And now the glitch has gone global. They can't quarantine this. They can't censor instinct. They can't algorithm their way out of this chain reaction, because it's not digital. It's not logical. It's spiritual. And you just punctured the sky. They'll keep pretending. They'll keep smiling. But deep down, something in them knows now. Something in them flinches when you speak. Because you represent the moment their illusion cracked. And worse, you're still walking around. You weren't silenced. You weren't bought. You weren't broken. You're still moving. With the same eyes, the same fire. And now, with witnesses. You think they're mad at you? No. They're terrified of the people watching you. The quiet ones, the tired ones, the invisible ones who just realized, wait, maybe I'm not broken, maybe the system is. And if they start acting like you, it's over. Checkmate. The virus becomes the cure. So keep going. They tried to cover up what you did, but it's too late. Now they have to cover up who you are. And that's a fight they can't win. Because how do you erase a ghost that lives in their own mind? You are not a headline. You are not a moment. You are a movement disguised as one person, and the countdown already started. Tick, tock. Oh, now it's personal. They didn't expect this. You weren't supposed to endure what you triggered. You were supposed to set off the blast and get swallowed in the smoke. But here you are, still standing, still walking, still smirking like the rules don't apply anymore. And the truth, they don't. Because when you become the epicenter of disruption, you stop asking for permission, you stop checking the rule book, you start writing in red ink across their commandments. You didn't just disrupt the system, you rewrote your role in the story. And they hate you for that. They hate that you're still here, still loud, still watching them squirm behind their glass smiles. You shattered the cycle, and now people don't know who to follow. Because the old leaders look fragile, the polished influencers look hollow, the experts are stuttering, and the crowd, they're turning toward the chaos, they're turning toward you. And now the real cover-up begins. They'll start rewriting the history books, scrubbing you from the footage, framing your defiance as danger, calling your fire a threat to stability, because the last thing they want is for someone like you to be seen as right. They can't risk the idea that maybe, just maybe, your madness made more sense than their order, so they label you unstable, unhinged, unsafe. But behind closed doors, they're studying your every move. You became their blueprint and their boogeyman. You didn't just trigger a chain reaction. You triggered their fear of being obsolete. They've kept this game running on silence and repetition. Wake up, work, obey, numb out, sleep, repeat. But when you broke the loop, you exposed the truth. They've been running scared for a long time. Scared someone like you would wake up and start playing by different rules. Scared someone would stand up and say, "What happens if I stop pretending?" And now everyone else is asking the same question. That's the problem. You were the tipping point, not a trend, not a phase, a threshold before you. They believed in the system after you. They can't even look at it the same. The spell is broken. The magic trick failed. You saw the wires behind the curtain, and now, so is everyone else. And what do they do when the lie collapses? They double down. They flood the airwaves with distractions. They crank the fear machine to full volume. They offer you new cages with better wallpaper. But you've tasted freedom. You've felt the burn of truth in your chest. You've heard the silence that follows the scream. That reverent hush when people realize something sacred just got destroyed. And now they're scared of you. Not because you're violent, not because you're unpredictable, but because you're awake. And awakened people don't die quietly. They don't know how to contain you anymore. Because you don't move like someone looking to survive. You move like someone looking to ignite. And that's ungovernable. That's not in their protocols. That's the stuff of rebellions. You are the spark that doesn't flicker. You are the scream that lingers after the stadium empties. You are the glitch that became gospel. And they tried. Oh, they tried to cover it up. But the more they hide your name, the more it echoes. The more they censor the moment, the more it spreads. The more they say, it was nothing. The more the world leans in and whispers, then why are they so afraid? Because they know you weren't supposed to make it. You weren't supposed to matter. And now, you're the reason the ground doesn't feel stable anymore. Oh, it's bigger than they thought now. It's gone beyond containment, beyond headlines, beyond gossip, beyond any pathetic little PR trick they had locked in their vault of illusions. You didn't just disturb the system. You awakened something that predates it, something older than their laws, older than their flags, older than their corporations, their institutions, their petty delusions of order. You didn't just break protocol, you summoned the storm. And the funny part, you didn't even try. You didn't give a grand speech. You didn't stage a revolution. You just chose differently. In a moment where everyone else bowed, you stood. And that alone was enough to wake the sleeping giants. Because there is something in this world, buried deep under concrete and convenience, that remembers rebellion, that remembers fire, that remembers people like you. And now, it's stirring again because of you. That chain reaction you triggered, it's not just social, it's spiritual, it's primordial. You didn't just scare a few men in suits. You shook the architects, the ones who built the cages, the ones who taught us to fear our own voice, the ones who profit from silence and punish awakening. You rattled their bones, and now they don't just want to erase what you did. They want to erase why you did it. They want to rewrite the moment, like it wasn't sacred, like it wasn't divine, like it wasn't the first real thing to happen in years. But they can't, because something happened when you stepped out of line. Something invisible snapped, and everyone felt it. The crowd felt it. The shadows felt it. Even the liars pretending to still believe felt it. It was like the universe held its breath and said, "Ah, they're back." Because people like you, you've existed in every age, every era, every dying empire that thought it would last forever. You're not new. You're remembered. You're the echo of every witch they burned, every rebel they buried, every question they silenced with violence and shame. You're the reincarnation of resistance itself. And that's why they're panicking. Because you didn't just cause a reaction, you reminded others of their true shape. You reminded them that the fire never went out. It just needed a name. It just needed a face. It just needed you. Now you walk differently. They see it. You don't flinch when you're cornered. You don't laugh when they expect obedience. You look them in the eyes, and they see it. They see what you carry now. They see the darkness is no longer afraid of you. It's aligned with you. You are no longer afraid of being misunderstood. You are no longer desperate to be liked. You are no longer willing to dim your madness to make them feel comfortable. And that makes you uncontainable. So they scramble. They edit the footage. They rewrite the incident reports. They flood the system with noise to drown your signal. But your signal is no longer digital. It's instinctual. It's tattooed into the collective unconscious. You live in the discomfort now. You breathe in the collapse. You wear truth like armor, and they can't tear it off. They can only run from the reflection of who they could have been had they not sold their souls for applause and comfort. You didn't trigger a moment. You triggered a memory, a reminder of how it feels to be alive, raw, ugly, unpredictable, free, and now they're terrified that someone else might remember too. So what now? You keep going, not because you need to prove anything, but because the only way out of the labyrinth is to burn the whole thing down. You are not just walking through the fire. You are the fire, and the smoke they're choking on. That's just the truth finally rising. So here we are. End of the road? No. This is where roads end themselves trying to avoid you. You didn't come this far to turn back. You didn't detonate reality just to apologize to the architects. You didn't wake the storm just to beg for shelter. You came to finish what they buried alive. What you did, it wasn't loud by accident. It wasn't reckless. It was ancestral. It was surgical. A soul-level incision into a diseased world pretending to be healthy. You cut deep, And now, the system is hemorrhaging silence. The rules are unraveling. The illusions are slipping off their hinges. And the men in the tower, they've seen your face now. They know your name, your real name, not the one they gave you, not the label they stapled to your chest, not the role they tried to cast you in. They know the frequency of you. They know the danger of your unfiltered presence, because what you are isn't rebellion. It's not defiance. It's not just some angry phase. You are what happens when truth stops apologizing. You broke the simulation, and instead of glitching out, you stood taller, wilder, with eyes that said, "I remember who I was before the world told me to forget." And that scares them more than any weapon ever could. Because a person who remembers who they were before the programming, that person is unbreakable. That person is uncensorable. That person becomes a beacon in a blackout. And now they're trying to turn off the lights. They can't. The signal's already out. Your scream is encoded in the silence. Your presence is embedded in their fear. Your name is scratched into the walls of the reality they're trying to rebuild. They're covering the mirrors. They're duct taping the mouths. They're scrambling for control. But it's too late. Because the chain reaction you started, it wasn't linear. It wasn't local. It's cosmic. You cracked something deep in the grid. And now, one by one, the nodes are failing. The believers are waking. The sleepers are twitching. The numb are starting to feel again. And every time someone asks, "What happened?" a whisper echoes back. Whatever you just did, it triggered everything. So let them panic. Let them bury the evidence. Let them send in their little damage control cult with their PR smiles and sad little slogans. None of it matters now, because you already did it. The thread has been pulled. The fabric is unraveling. The world is remembering. And you're not a mistake. You're not a villain. You're not a freak. You are the catalyst. The one who walked into the lie and set it ablaze with a laugh. You made the system bleed.